Alrighty. We will get going here momentarily. All right, everyone. If you're just joining us, just wanted to pop on here to talk about some of the weather moving our way. We do have a little bit of a shower activity pushing through eastern Iowa right now. We should see that entering the Cedar Rapids area momentarily, but Waterloo getting a few sprinkles right now. That is the brunt of what we're going to be facing in the near term with the storm system that is moving much further to our north at this hour. Just getting some other things set up here. Go ahead and delete that. We're going to start with that, excuse me, and take a look at what to expect over the next 24 hours or so. And then we're going to be taking a look at what looks to be a rather potent storm system heading our way for the weekend. This one looks rather significant. Excuse me, rather significant as we move through the Friday night and Saturday time period here in Iowa. So we're going to be taking a look at that here shortly. There's some new model runs that have come in that we're going to want to get a good look at here in just a moment as we're getting things set up. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to share them in the chat. If you have any other concerns about the weather over the next few days, let us know. We'll take a look at that for you, and we'll just kind of go from there at this point. There we go. I think that'll do for now. Okay, that is not going to cooperate. All right. We will worry about that later. All right, so let's take a look at what we're looking at tonight. You can see the showers moving through, very light showers moving through eastern Iowa right now. They've been kind of slowly making their way across the state all day long. We're going to go ahead and switch to a national radar here and widen out our view a little bit. Let's go ahead and switch over to winter mode, and you'll see what we're seeing up here. The bulk of the moisture is well up to our north in Minnesota, heavy snow falling in portions of northern Minnesota as well as the eastern Dakotas. And you can kind of see that comma shape. I'm going to go ahead and extend this loop out a little bit. You're going to see that wraparound moisture as this low pressure system is moving west to east to our north. And there you see that moisture wrapping around the center of the storm system. Some of this could creep into far northern Iowa as some snow showers, so something to watch out for if you're traveling along the Iowa-Minnesota border. But again, the bulk of the main snow is going to be falling well to our north up in Minnesota. So if you have some long-distance travel plans to the north, you might want to Keep an eye on things up there. But for right now, Iowa doesn't appear to be looking at any widespread winter weather anytime soon. But what we are looking at is what is coming on the backside of this, and we're going to be feeling that here very soon. We do have high wind warnings in effect for several counties in western Iowa. Just about everyone else here in the state of Iowa will be under a wind advisory as we move into your Wednesday. Some pretty potent winds are going to be moving through the area. So let's start switching over to some of our models here. And first, we're going to start with the short-term models. Sorry about that. I just bumped the mic. So let's take a look at some of the short-term models. Now, this is a look at the precipitation that we're expecting to see over the next 12 to 24 hours. And there it goes. Well, I didn't want to load there for a second. So let's take a look at this. This is, as you can see, that snow kind of creeping in. There could be some heavier snow showers, especially right along the border near Osage, between Osage and Austin, possibly Decorah as we move towards. This would be very early tomorrow morning, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning overnight. So it could be some travel problems tomorrow morning in far northeastern Iowa, so you'll have to keep an eye out on road conditions. We may go ahead and pop up a road conditions map to stay up overnight. If we do see conditions deteriorate in far northern Iowa, that's something that we'll keep an eye on. But overall, snowfall accumulation here in Iowa expected to be extremely minimal. In fact, if we take a look at, this is a very rough estimate of snowfall totals. Not seeing a whole lot, maybe 1 to 3 inches at most, right along the border with the heaviest stuff well up to our north. But something to keep an eye out as it's falling, because on top of this, we're going to be seeing some pretty significant winds. And I think I'm going to want to switch over to our other model here if I can. It's going to make me redo it. Okay. So what's going to be coming in on the back end of this is going to be a significant amount of wind, hence the high wind warning and wind advisory is now in effect. And that's something that we're going to have to cope with over the next 24 hours or so. Let me get this all set up. There we go. So bear with me as I'm getting this all set up here, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at, we'll start with the HER model. This is one of the shorter range models. And let's take a look first at expected wind speeds in the area. Now, areas in blue you see there are upwards of 15 to 20 miles per hour. As we move through the evening hours, let me make sure this is the most updated. This is not the most updated model. Here we go. You can see those winds really starting to pick up already in far western Iowa. You see the low pressure center here right over the Twin Cities, basically. And we're going to see these winds upwards of about 30 to 45 miles an hour starting in western Iowa and then making their way further to the east as we move through the evening and overnight hours. Some pretty long duration winds here. And by the time we get to morning, this is right around sunrise tomorrow, we're going to see some very strong winds over northern Iowa. So any snowfall that is falling or has fallen and is stuck is certainly going to be blowing around and could cause some travel problems tomorrow morning if you still got to get to work or school or begin your travels for Thanksgiving. So wind is going to be the primary threat tomorrow morning, but again, no major widespread travel concerns that we're seeing right now. Now with this wind barreling out of the northwest, of course, we're going to see a major change in temperatures, and you see it right there. This is tomorrow morning. This is wind temperatures down into the 20s, and that will probably be a bit of an improvement compared to what we're going to see later this week. There is the cold air spilling in overnight tonight. And let's go ahead and take a look at a slightly longer range model here and show you where this is going to go. So this is the North American model. We're going to start this off at tomorrow morning. And you can see as we move further into the week, further into the day, we'll warm up just a little bit, a few degrees, and then we'll start crashing down again Wednesday night. Thursday, we're going to be right around freezing, above freezing, especially in southwest Iowa. And then more cold air pours its way in where we could see some teens and 20s for lows as we move into Thursday night into Friday. So for the rest of the week, for holiday travel purposes, it's going to be the cold, it's going to be the wind, and if you're traveling to the north, it's going to be the snow. Here in Iowa, no major widespread travel concerns with the exception of that wind and cold. But then, as we've been alluding to, the attention is going to turn to this weekend. Now, this is just on the outskirts of some of the medium range models that we look at. The long range models, though, have been very consistent in timing and track. Snowfall totals, obviously, probably a bit overdone, but there is an increasing confidence, I would say, that heavy snow is going to fall in parts of Iowa over the weekend. So that's what we're going to look at here. So let's go ahead and let's switch over to estimated radar here and see if this is coming into our medium range models. This is the North American model. This is Friday afternoon. You see the snow making its way into western Iowa by Friday evening. It starts overspreading much of the state, and then overnight Friday into Saturday, you can see some light to moderate snow showers falling over much of the state. So this is essentially confirming what we've been seeing for some time in the longer range models. Now that it's coming into view of some of our shorter range models, it's picking up the same thing. That is building confidence that this could be a rather potent system. Now, this is as far out as this model goes, but it shows, again, a very similar track and pattern that we've been seeing in the longer range models. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pop up if we have any updates yet from the National Weather Service. I don't believe we do, but we're right around that time period where we get an update from them. And actually, yeah, about an hour ago, they said the exact same thing. Increasing confidence for impactful snow accumulation later Friday through Saturday, ending overnight Saturday night. Impacts to travel are expected. So yeah, now that it's coming into some of the shorter range models, that confidence is building that we could see a heavy snow event over parts of the state of Iowa. This is from the National Weather Service in Des Moines. All eyes on the system set to impact the area Friday and Saturday. The GFS and Euro and their ensembles have come into agreement in the 6 and 12 Zulu runs with the synoptic scale evolution of the system. Now, this doesn't mean that there isn't any fluctuation in the path. This is not set in stone by any stretch of the imagination. But there's been enough consistency here that there's confidence that there is going to be heavy snow somewhere. It's just too soon to really say who's at the greatest risk. However, here's what they are saying. We're about 5 to 6 forecast periods out from this, beginning on Friday night. So pinning down exactly where this is going to go is a little bit tricky. However, there is a high chance right now, the Weather Service puts it at 75 to 90%, of at least 4 inches of snow across the northeast half of Iowa. So basically, if you go northwest to southeast, carve the state in half, say almost Sioux City to Ames down to Fort Madison, and points north and east, there's a good shot at some significant snow, 4 inches or more. And then that likelihood drops a little bit closer to 30 to 50% once you get south and west of that area. So you're Des Moines, Omaha, etc. Now, could we see more than 4 inches? Absolutely. That's a possibility as well. But right now, I think 4 inches is kind of a good place to start. I think the Weather Service is doing a good job there. That's a good kind of median number to say, well, it's looking increasingly likely that at least 4 inches of snow could fall over this area where we expect the heaviest snow to fall. Now, once we get talking about 6 inches or more, then you're starting to talk about a winter storm warning. And so that's something that will likely come into play as we get closer. I anticipate with the travel concerns, because this is going to begin in western Iowa closer towards Friday afternoon, we could see as early as Wednesday evening a winter storm watch being put into effect to really give people a heads up. And by Thursday evening, we're probably going to see some warnings being issued, or at the very least, a winter weather advisory if snowfall totals don't appear to be reaching that point. But the bottom line is we're going to be cold enough for snow. We're going to have some cold weather ahead of it. That's going to bring conditions on the surface down a little bit. This is not going to be a situation where we're going to see a lot of snow melt right away. So this will be an impactful storm system if you have travel plans this weekend, especially from the Friday afternoon to Saturday evening time frame from west to east here in Iowa. A very, very good chance at 4+ inches of snow over much of the state of Iowa. Could be higher amounts. It is far too soon to pinpoint exactly where that could or could not be. Again, if you have any questions or if you're joining us in the middle of the conversation, feel free to share your comments in the chat. Liking and subscribing also helps. We hope to do more of these in the days ahead. But again, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat and I'd be happy to try and answer them for you. The biggest concern with storm systems like this is the deformation zone. And that's where you get a real good pocket of very dense, heavy snowfall that can drop an inch or two an hour, if not more. And that is really what's going to be tricky to figure out here. There's also going to be the problem of what kind of precipitation are we going to see perhaps in areas around Des Moines and points south and west. Will it be snow? Will it be a mix? Will it be some form of sleet or freezing rain? Right now, that's up in the air, and that will have a major implications on snowfall totals in that area. But again, you get north and east here in Iowa, especially north of Highway 20, east of I-35. Right now, there is very good confidence that 4 or more inches of snow could fall in that area between Friday afternoon and Saturday evening. Now, hopefully that would be a long enough duration event. The snow won't fall at a heavy rate, but in some places it could, and that's what we're certainly going to be monitoring as we move forward. So again, what you see here, this is around, this is right around midnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. That's as far as the short range models can go. But the longer range models, oh boy, they're just coming in right now. So we're going to have to look at an old run here because this one is not going to go out far enough. So we're going to switch back to an older GFS here. I was hoping it would be in by now, but unfortunately that's not the case. So let's take a look at this here. We're going to go back out. This is getting us out to, this is 84. So yeah, this is around midnight, Friday night into Saturday. You can see kind of a similar pattern to what we were seeing on the North American model of snow beginning to overspread the state. Again, this is overnight. This is moving into very early Saturday morning. You see some light to moderate snow showers falling across eastern Iowa. And then another wave coming in on the back end of that. This is midday on Saturday, I believe. Midday on Saturday, and you can see some heavier precipitation, some questions as to the type of precipitation here in southern Iowa. And then during the day on Saturday, that's going to come across. Now this is different from what we were seeing in the NAM, but this would be concerning. If this switches all over to snow, we could see some heavier pockets of snowfall. And then here we go. This would be midnight on Saturday night. You see it finally beginning to exit the area here. So this could bring snow through the overnight hours into Saturday night. So kind of a 1-2 puncher. You see this first wave of light snowfall, doesn't look too serious, and then right behind it we get the second main thrust of energy in with the storm system. So the question is, how much snow is this gonna drop? I'm really leery to look at that right now, just because there's so many variables. This is the best guess for this one model, and this is not a forecast. These are very likely overblown numbers. It is very common for these models to go way too high on snowfall totals. And so when you see double-digit numbers here, I would take that with a very, very tiny grain of salt. But it does show you the overall pattern that we're looking at for the potential of snowfall. So the likelihood right here of this is the area they were talking about of at least 4 inches of snow. You can see why the probabilities of that are extremely high. I would not trust any forecast that gives you these numbers as an absolute. But that is an indicator of the moisture that is going to be coming in with this system and the potential that we could see of 6+ inches of snow. I think I wouldn't want to go any higher than that. I would say certainly a good portion of the state could expect to see warning criteria snowfall over the weekend. But beyond that, it is just too soon to tell. This is one model, and we need to get more models sampling this data and looking at it. And once it's come closer together and we get more agreement, I think we're going to see those numbers drop quite a bit. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. I think that 4-inch total is a really good general number right now for the weekend, and certainly 6 or more is possible in parts of Iowa, which could lead to a winter storm warning. But we just need more time to really hash that out. But you get an idea of the overall track and timing of this, because it's really come together on these models. I'm actually quite impressed by that. So there you see the 2 waves come through. On the back end of it, I haven't really looked at the winds on this. I apologize if you hear my dog's collar. She's not liking the cloudy conditions. So here we have the winds on Saturday. This is actually, that's Sunday, isn't it? No, this is Saturday night. So we do have some winds on the back side of it. This is very early Sunday morning. Very early Sunday morning. So we're going to have some winds on the back end of this. That's not going to be good. But overall, we do have some winds. This would be Thursday night into Friday. No, Friday night into Saturday, there will be some winds with it. So certainly, especially during the evening hours, the nighttime hours, we're going to see some degrading travel conditions. We could see a bit of a break if we can get the roads cleared on Saturday. But then this next wave comes in, and that will have more wind behind it after the snow stops falling, which could make things a bit of a problem on Sunday. So if you need to get back to where you traveled from, if you need to get back from where you're traveling from on Sunday, that could be a bit of a problem if there's any blowing snow in the area. Um, so that's something to keep an eye out. Is that wind could be a problem even throughout the day on Sunday as the snow is beginning to wrap up across the state of Iowa. And then on the back side of this, just out of curiosity, let's take a look and see what the temperatures are going to do. Wow, that is some cold air. We'll see if that verifies. That's pretty cold. Below zero, certainly possible. Again, these are temperatures, wind chills. Boy, I hope not. I hope not. But again, we're going to have a pretty decently and fresh snowpack. If we get some calmer conditions and we get some clear skies at night, those temperatures are certainly possible. So a real cold air on the back side of this, either way, even if it's not that cold, single digits certainly possible, and we could see some below zero conditions in parts of the state. And boy, winter is going to come in pretty strongly here as we move through the first week or so of December. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to share them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them for you. If there's any particular place you're planning on traveling, right now, areas south and east of Iowa look pretty good. North is going to be a problem here over the next 36 to 48 hours. And then the state of Iowa is going to be a problem from Friday night through Sunday morning as we see kind of a 1-2 punch of snow move through the area. Again, we'll see if we can time that out here for you. All right, so here we are right now. Boy, I'd love to see let's see if the new model run picks up on this first storm system. Looks like it will. So here we have the storm system making its way through Minnesota. We could see some light snow in northern Iowa overnight. May cause some isolated problems, but hopefully nothing too widespread. And then, yeah, clear but windy and much colder as we move through Wednesday and Thursday. And then we do have that second system that'll be making its way in. It's just not being picked up yet on the new model run. But if we switch back to the old one, you can see here we go on Friday, the snow overspreading the area overnight into Saturday. And then Saturday into Sunday, another wave comes in with more precipitation. And that could cause some more significant problems. One thing we don't really know about here, too, is what kind of snow ratios we're going to be looking at. Because we're not going to be hugging the freezing line like we did last time. This is going to be some colder air in the area at the time. So let's see here. Let's take a look at temperatures as the snow is falling. This does still have us right around freezing, but as that snow is pushing through the area, you see that cold air crashing in behind it. And so we could see, that definitely would translate into some heavier snow totals if the snow is still falling. But again, I think the Weather Service has kind of got this pinned down pretty good right now. I think that 4+ inches of snow. Let me see if I can flip this over to. There we go. I'm gonna go back over here and see if we can't do a little bit of drawing for you. Okay, so right now what the Weather Service is thinking, and I think this seems to be pretty much on the money. Is they're kind of watching. Oh, that is not the kind of polygon I wanted. Here we go. It looks like what they're looking at is right here in this area is where the lowest potential for heavy snow is. And then as we move through the second wave Friday into Saturday into Sunday, this is the area of most concern for heavier snow. That would be in excess of 4 inches. And it could go much higher than that. It is just way too soon to forecast any of that right now. 4 inches seems to be a uh, good start for Friday through Sunday. Certainly enough to cause some travel problems. And as we get closer to the storm system, we get a better idea on the track, the timing, the moisture involved. We will likely see not only these snow totals increase, but we'll see the forecast become a little bit more precise in exactly where the heavier snow may fall. But this is obviously the main area of concern this weekend. So what does that mean for you? Well, the biggest thing is if you have any travel plans, you need to stay up to date on the latest forecast. It is going to change. It is Tuesday. This is happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Quite a ways out, especially when you're talking about winter weather. Also, we're going to have to keep in mind the fact that there is a lot of travel going on, and that's going to be on the back end of the holiday season. So, people are going to be trying to get home. If you're traveling a long distance and you're trying to get back to Iowa, it certainly looks like any areas west of Iowa are going to have problems coming back. If you're going to go east of Iowa and you need to come back west to get home on Saturday or Sunday, the sooner the better would be ideal to beat the worst of this. There could be a window during the day on Saturday where conditions may improve a bit between waves of snowfall, but ultimately it's going to come down to the timing, and we just don't have anything finite on that. If we can get a break in there, that would be good, because it looks like the second wave of snow during the day on Saturday, overnight into Sunday, could be heavier for more of the state of Iowa. So that's something that we're going to have to watch. This is the radar right now as we see it. You see the showers moving through eastern Iowa again this evening. No major concerns expected. It's not much different than the dreary, foggy weather we've been experiencing all day already. We're going to see that sweep through. And again, you see the snow up to our north. Some decent snowfall is going to be falling across much of northern Minnesota. In fact, let me go ahead and pop up. Here you see the various alerts that are in effect. Just north of the Iowa border, these counties in purple are under a winter weather advisory. And then these counties in red are under a winter storm warning. And we do have some pockets of blizzard conditions now being reported in portions of South Dakota and then towards northern Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan, where those winds have really picked up and they're really getting some heavy snowfall. So some blizzard warnings now being issued for those areas. But again, all of this severe winter weather should not be making it into the state tonight and tomorrow. We could see some pockets of snowfall across extreme northern Iowa as we move towards the morning hours, but otherwise no major problems expected. And we should see this precipitation. If you do need to get north, we should see this precipitation get out of here in time, where perhaps late in the day tomorrow, conditions will hopefully improve to our north, but west, southeast, all looks good for now. The main concern is going to be getting home from holiday plans between Friday and Sunday, as we get these 2 shots of snow here in Iowa that could cause some problems. So we're going to keep working on trying to pin down that forecast for the weekend, because I would say right now there is a good likelihood that we're going to see significant snowfall across much of the state of Iowa. And this is going to be for many places at least, with the exception of Northwest Iowa, this is going to be our first significant snowfall of the year. And unfortunately, it's happening during a busy travel holiday. So you need to stay tuned. Check as many sources as you can. Don't just rely on those generic apps on your phone. We'll try and do stuff here. Always check with your favorite sources online. Your local television station's always one of the best resources out there to really nail things down. We're all getting the same information, but we're all looking at it at different times. And so anytime you can look at something current or get some insight current is going to be the best information that you can get. So always look for the best sources out there. We try to be one of them, especially if you have any questions about your specific travel plans. If there's anywhere you're going, if there's any timing you're concerned about, let us know. But right now, for the most part, things look pretty good for your travels to your Thanksgiving plans. They don't look so great for your travel home from your Thanksgiving plans. So that's going to be the main concern for us here in Iowa. Again, right now, it looks like much of the state could see in excess of 4 inches of snow over the weekend. How high beyond 4 inches that could go in many places, it's too soon to say. There are some indications we could see some heavy snowfall, enough to warrant a winter storm warning for a good chunk of the state of Iowa, but That's a long ways out still, and certainly not committing to any of that. I would expect, though, right around Thanksgiving to see some winter storm watches going up for portions of the state of Iowa, maybe as early as tomorrow for portions of western Iowa, as this system by tomorrow should begin to come into focus for more of the moderate, medium range models. And then by Thursday, we should get a real good look Thursday morning with some of the high-res models, the short-range models that we look at. And if they continue to agree with one another and these snow totals don't change, then we're going to certainly be having to take this a little more seriously. But right now, the headline is listen and prepare. Because if you have weekend plans, if you have weekend travel, and it's in Iowa, there's a good chance it's going to be impacted, and it's at least going to be a very significant headache for you. But no reason to panic. We've been through this before, and nothing that we haven't seen here before. It's just something that you just need to keep an eye out for, and keep a thought in the back of your head about any plans that you might be able to change or modify a bit in order to make your travel a little bit easier, a little bit safer. And the more people that do that, the easier that crews have getting the roads clear when those conditions are difficult. So right now, main concern is extremely gusty winds, possibly some damaging winds in western Iowa. That's why a high wind warning is in effect. In fact, I'll put that up here. There's a high wind warning in effect for just a handful of counties. There we go. So you see in this brighter yellow over here, this is the high wind warning that's in effect over for the Sioux City area. We also have the wind advisory that's now in effect for much of the state of Iowa for various times. Here in eastern Iowa, that wind advisory remains in effect until, I'd say midday tomorrow. I have an unhappy dog. I'm sure you know what that's like. So that's what we're looking with those. So wind is going to be the biggest problem for us. We could see a little bit of disruptive snow here. You can see the winter weather advisory now all the way down to the Iowa border. So we could see maybe a dusting to a couple of inches of snow here in far northern Iowa overnight into tomorrow morning, and with a little bit of wind that could cause some problems. So if you have any travel plans tomorrow morning, or you still need to get to work or school, keep that in mind. There may be a little bit of slow going up in those parts of the state. So that's a look at what we have right now. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, we'll probably go ahead and wrap up here and plan on doing another update first thing tomorrow morning. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. We'll probably repost this a little later for anyone that may have missed it. And we'll try and get you an update when that comes in. As always, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. You can also ring the bell so you get notifications when we do go live. But above all else, whether it's here or somewhere else, make sure you stay up to date on the latest forecast. It's going to change. You're probably going to hear a lot of different things online, so make sure you're following trusted sources. We try and provide good information here. Your local media is also a great resource, as well as your local media's apps. Above all else, those are always more accurate than what you're going to get from those generic apps that you get on your phones. So as the rain is now coming down here pretty hard in Marion, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and hopefully you'll stay as dry as possible tonight. And stay tuned to the weather in the days ahead, as we could see our first significant winter storm this weekend for much of the state of Iowa. Thanks for joining us.